All right, welcome to the Prism Podcast, and I'm so excited for this episode. I actually just finished interviewing the one and only Isabel Vita, who is our guest this week, and this woman is a legend in the spray tanning industry. We had such an incredible conversation. If you don't know who this queen is, she is the celebrity spray tan artist of celebrity spray tan artists, okay? She has made a complete name for herself with her company, Dolce Glow. It's been absolutely blowing up over the last decade that she's been in business, and she has taken the industry by storm, truly. Her story is incredible. It's one of the most inspiring, started from the bottom, now we're here kind of stories. And, you know, she goes vulnerably into her experience as a child, trauma, all of it. And she just shares so authentically. She's also, again, celebrity spray tan artist for people like Miley Cyrus, who's also an investor in her company, Selena Gomez, the Kardashians and the Jenners, right? Literally anybody who is anyone, she is spray tanning them. So again, she's such an incredible woman. I'm very excited for you all to hear her story straight from her. So without further ado, we're gonna dive right in to the interview with Isabel of Dolce Glow. Isabel is here with me, and I am so beyond excited to have you here. And we just went through like a chaotic time getting all set up, but we're here. We did it.
Chaotic time.
We did it. We did it. And I just, you know, I know how busy you are and how crazy your life is. I see you traveling all the time, and I just want to, you know, thank you for taking the time to come out here.
Thanks for having me. I'm always so honored to just be in front and just sharing a story, and hopefully I can inspire other women or males that are, you know, whether they're trying to build a business or come into the spray tanning business. So thank you for having me, and yeah, so excited.
Yes, amazing. And I've actually done a little research on you, and I've heard some of your story, because where you are now compared to where you've been is like stark difference. Yeah. So I would love if you can share with people that don't know anything about your background, like how you grew up, where you came from, just the whole story, because it's honestly insane from what I've heard.
Thank you so much. Yeah. You know, I feel like that's what sets Dolce Glow, my company, aside, is really the brand story and the authenticity that has come from that. And I think, you know, for me, I really like to share, like, I didn't just start in glitz and glam and being a celebrity spray tan artist to some of the most influential people in the world, which is so amazing. I'm so grateful and debited to that. But it's really what has brought me there, and that, you know, being raised in foster care, and, you know, at the age of 7, I was put in a foster home. And, you know, went through some really horrific stuff the first 7 years of my life. And then I go into foster care, and it was supposed to be this better experience, and it ended up being one of the most horrific experiences of my life. And I was a victim, and I hate to use the word victim, but truly when you're a kid, I do look at you, you are a victim of a system like DCFS that did fail us. And so I went through tons of abuse and stuff that no child should have to go through. And this is like with my foster family. Really crazy. And, you know, these are the people that we got taken away from one family, our biological family, and then I was placed into a foster home, and it was supposed to be better and pull us out of this nightmare, you know, that we had went through. And my mom had 5 biological daughters, and we're all adopted in different areas. And we go to this foster home, and it was supposed to be better. And unfortunately, I was one of those kids where the system did fail us. And unfortunately, some of the social workers did know about some of the stuff that was happening. And
what?
It's crazy.
It's like a movie.
It really is a movie. And it's not, oh, you know, they said the F word. It's just some stuff that should never happen to kids. And, you know, I pulled through, and I don't look at myself now as a victim, more as a survivor, and I made it through, because there was days where I didn't even know if I was going to make it out alive. And I think when you go through certain challenges like that in your life, you just have this different appreciation to like want to be a better person. And when you come from nothing, you appreciate things 100 times more, and you have this like inner, like, I can't explain it, but you really have this like inner boost and this like flame behind you that's like pushing you to be a better person than like these 2 families that like failed me. And so pretty much I left my foster home at the age of 17, and at the age of 17 I started renting a room in a stranger's house for $300. I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from. I left my foster home with a backpack.
How old were you?
17.
Oh my God.
So I was an underage minor, and this school teacher opened up her home to me. And I remember her opening up this door, and it was the most beautiful room I had ever seen. And I don't know if it was just really because it was so beautiful, but it's because it was mine.
Yeah.
And I had never felt that like sense of just pride, whatever, just this feeling of like, I'm going to be okay. And I think it was a sense of freedom that I saw in this room.
Wow.
And, you know, I was working 3 jobs. I was a janitor. I was working at Jack in the Box. I was working at Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, like, I did all those jobs.
Wow.
I was cleaning, you know, middle school dirty boys' bathroom, which I'll never forget about. That was like the most disgusting thing ever. And then at 17, you know, obviously just leaving and pretty much out to the real world and not having like mom and dad to call or anybody really to be like, hey, like, I don't know where I'm going to get my next meal from, or, you know, I'm really screwed up and I have a lot of depression and mental illness because of years and years of abuse and trauma.
Yes.
And so it's just, I truly think that it has been God that has like pushed me, and this like inner faith and confidence that I didn't know I had. And like God just pushed me to find that. And so I definitely know I would not be here today if it weren't for this, you know, my faith and just like God just watching over me.
Yeah, well, I feel like when you're in a place where you have nothing to lose, it's like that's all you have.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you had was that
I'm
relationship.
not scared of anything.
Yeah, because you can't
I used to. The first 17 years of my life, I was years and years of abuse. I was scared of everything. And I was scared of speaking up. And I was scared of, you know, the wrath that I would get. And I was scared of what people would say or think of me. I used to be called, you know, I was bullied in high school, and I was the only Caucasian woman in an all-Hispanic high school.
Wow.
But I spoke Spanish fluently, but I always felt like I didn't fit in. And so but it was also because of what I had been through.
Yeah.
And so, you know, leaving my foster home and really just like going out into the real world and like starting college and like thinking that I was going to become a psychologist, that I wanted to help foster kids, and, you know, working a 9 to 5 and hated that 9 to 5, but I still was like employee of the year every year in a row, because anything I set my mind to, I just had this, like, I wanted to be better than I was the day before.
Yes.
And so, you know, and that's ultimately what like led me to spray tanning.
Wow.
And was getting this spray tan when probably couldn't even afford it.
Yeah.
And I remember this feeling that it gave me, and it was something that I could not explain, right? Although it was an outer beauty thing, the way this made me feel on the inside was like something I had never felt before.
Why did you get the spray tan? Like, what triggered you to go
I
get that
think
spray
we were
tan?
like going, it was like at my sister's house, and we were like going somewhere, and I remember like I couldn't afford it, but like obviously
like, I'm gonna get it.
Like you like find a way to like, make it work,
Yeah.
right? I feel like that's the coolest thing about beauty. It's like women want to look and feel good, and so it was like one of those things. And I get the spray tan, and I was like, what if I start doing this to make extra money? It was like the thought that came to me. And then obviously continue to work, and I remember praying to God at my desk for 2 years, and I was like, God, you have to show me that there's something more for me, bigger and better, like give me. And like, you know, you pray, you're like, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what I like, and should I go into therapy, should I become a psychologist, do I get my, you know, undergrad? And then one day I get another spray tan, and that feeling came back to me, and I was like, what if I could make others feel just as amazing as I felt in that moment? Like, it literally made everything look better. Like, I'm small, petite, but like I have tons of cellulite, and this spray tan just made me look so amazing.
It's like 10 workouts in one.
It was like, well, they say the spray tan makes you look 30% thinner, and so I remember the spray tan. So it wasn't just like this outer thing. It was also this like inner confidence. I was in such a dark place in my life, like just leaving foster care, not knowing my next meal was going to come from. And I get this spray tan, and I was like, how does this spray tan just like completely transform my life? Like, I was like, we're ready to go to the club. Like, everything just like made me look and feel better. And I remember at that time I just married my husband, and I was like, hey, like, I think I'm gonna start spray tanning. Like, we had no money left, like no money. I had borrowed $500 for my wedding to pay for it, because my husband had just lost his job. Oh my God. My sister paid for my wedding dress. It was like $300. We literally had nothing. And we had like our last like $1,500 or $1,800 left. And I was like, I'm gonna do this to start the spray tanning business. Wow. And I took the spray tanning class, and you know, there was so much more that you can't get it after a few hours. And I really made tons of mistakes, and you know, worked my way up and, you know, made, you know, mistakes that I thought would forever cancel me. And for little did I know that I would be, you know, that I would have one of the most incredible businesses, in my opinion, today, that has really shaken the spray tanning industry. That I'm so grateful.
It's so fabulous to hear the full story, because people always look from the outside and they're like, oh, they had it easy, they had it handed to them. And to hear that story of just like true perseverance is so inspiring. It is so inspiring.
Thank you so much. And I truly, and that's why I love doing these podcasts, because I think from being, I feel the same way, but I truly think like, and I love being, and obviously thank you for allowing me to, you know, to speak with you today, because I truly feel like me being a blonde, green-eyed woman, people automatically think that I was privileged, that I was handed a check. And I'm like, actually, did you know,
all these bitches.
And this is something that, you know, this might be hard for other people to understand, but I ate dog food to survive. I ate raw meat to survive. Like, I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from. Like, I literally was insane. Like, the stuff that you would never even imagine. I almost died of a bleeding ulcer at the age of 7. I bled to death. The doctors told my parents because I was malnourished. My mom would leave for 4 or 5 days and to leave 5-year-olds by themselves. And so there's this part of me to where it's like people look at me from the outside like, oh, she has it all great, and she this, and she tans this person and tans this person. I'm like, but do you really know I worked my way to get there? I'm out when you're sleeping and at a bar with your friends. I'm out tanning till 3, 4 in the morning, and I'm at my 9 to 5. I just quit my full-time job 2 years ago.
Wow.
Just quit. I built Dolce Glow while working full-time, and that was like my side hustle. That was my business. And my first year spray tanning, because I worked so hard and did so many spray tans, I made over $100,000 just by working at night doing spray tans.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's like what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And when I train my students to come take my class, I'm like, listen, I'm going to give you all the stuff that I didn't know. I'm going to get you through the good times, the hard times. I'm going to give you all the mistakes that I made. I tanned one of the biggest celebrities for a photo shoot, and no one told me that I couldn't spray tan them when they were sunburned from the sun. And I spray tan them, and they were peeling in chunks. And it was a multi-million-dollar shoot. And that comes, and that's why I care so much about my classes and about teaching, because there's certain things that I didn't learn. And so not only did it change my life, I want to be able to give back to other people and be like, you know, we're all struggling. It's like inflation, the most expensive times we've ever seen. So it's like, I've never seen my classes have as much registrations as they have today.
Everyone needs a side hustle.
Because it's so difficult.
You can't earn one income and be fine.
You can't. And even with your significant other, you need 3, 4 sometimes. And obviously, I'm a huge believer in like living minimalistic and content and small, less is more. But I also know that like rents for a 1 bedroom is like $2,500, $3,000, and you know, after taxes. And so this is why I love so much that I'm in a place now that I could teach other people this amazing business, because this was almost 10 years ago that I made $100,000 my first year. So now being able to do classes and have the education and be able to train these women from a different perspective. Like, I feel like I'm winning in all directions.
Well, I think that when you can then take, I always think of knowledge as like, it's great to have it, but unless you're passing it forward now, especially with the amount of time you've been doing this and the amount of experience and all the mess ups you've had. Like so many mess ups.
And I love sitting here and acknowledging that.
That I be who you are
because you have to make mistakes, right? It's how you come up from those mistakes. You can either quit, you can give up. Like, I have people that will take the class and then they'll call me 3 months later and they're like, hey, I haven't picked up my spray tan gun. I'm like, that's your fault. What you put into this business is what you're going to get out of it, whether it's spray tanning or makeup or whatever it is. Truly, what you put into is what you're going to get out of it. And I feel like I'm a true testament of perseverance. And I could have quit so many times. And there's so many times where like I was like, how am I going to get by? How am I going to do this? And like now I have, you know, my husband, who's the most incredible, supporting, loving husband. I was blessed with an amazing husband, an amazing daughter that pushes me And I could have ended up just like my biological mother, doing drugs and being an alcoholic. And I know there's so many people suffering, but I love that I'm in a place now that I can give back. And I'll tell you, and I say this all, the most incredible times of this spray tanning journey has been praying with my clients in their spray tanning tent. Wow. You have no idea how many prayers. Wow. And with some of the most influential people that I've gone to their house, and I was like, can I pray over you? Like, I'm sensing this, and they just burst out crying. I'm like, let's do this up before the spray tan. Let's get it all out, not after the
therapy before the spray tan.
But I always say the best prayers and conversations have happened when my clients have been naked in my spray tan.
That's hilarious.
But I know that God has really put me in a place now to not just give back, but also be a light in so many people's lives, whether it's through education, whether it's through just motivation. And so, it's not easy, but you just got to push through. And, and I can say that I came from the lowest of the lowest. And, and I'm not saying that, no other, I just truly feel that so many people are struggling. And, a lot of people ask me, they're like, are you embarrassed to share your story? I'm like, no, because I hope that my story will inspire 100 other women and males.
Oh yeah, more than that, for sure. But the authentic, I was talking to someone about this today, it's like, you can be perfect and present yourself as perfect, but no one actually resonates with you or cares until they've heard the bad things you've gone through, right?
And 100%, and I feel like till this day, there's certain events that I don't get invited to speak at or whatever it is. And, I try not to take that personal. And I'm like, you know what? I look at myself as, my story is probably the realest that it gets. Until this day, I literally, I've never changed who I am, and I've always remained humble, and I want to help anybody that's in my circle. And like I said, you asked me earlier about my team. Yes. And you're like, how did you meet them? Every single one of my team are my either best friends from high school or related to me through family. Yes. And it's because I chose them because they have my best interests at heart, and I have their interests at heart. Yeah. And they're not with me to meet someone or, go to the, it's like I always want the best for them, but I love that it's really so hard to build a real team, and I'm so grateful to have such an incredible team. Yes. But it's really being your true authentic self. And just before I came to you, I got this news from something with my family, and I'm bawling my eyes out, and I'm with, my team, or they're scratching my back, and it's like being able to pull it together and being, come here and just be like, it's like, it's okay to not be okay, and show up and you make a commitment. And so
that's so, I just love everything you stand for, and it's so not lost on me how hard that can be in the beginning, but as you get further away from it, it's like easier to share. But I would love to hear, because a lot of the people like at this event, for example, and that listen to the podcast, they're spray tan artists, but they're much earlier on in their build. And something I think that is very important is for someone like you to talk about what it actually took in the beginning, because I know the first years of building both of my businesses, it's like people have no idea what it actually takes. What did it take for you to create a foundation for what
my gosh, it is one of the most difficult things building a business and a team, right? And you're gonna have those really hard days, and guess what? I still have them till this day. Like, if people knew the shit show that really goes on behind the scenes on like stuff that like you're like, are you kidding me? It's really those times that you're like, hey, if I can get myself up from this, I can do anything. But looking back in my career, you need to take those late night calls. You need to do those spray tans. You need to do the dirty work. You need to put in, you're everything in one business. And when you're building, you can't just hire a million staff. Like, it's just you. You're the HR. You're the customer service rep. You're the receptionist. You're the spray tan artist. And I've been there. And guess what? I still do so much myself. I have an amazing team now. But I really try to take on probably a little bit too much. But just because I love this business so much, I'm like, indulge me in everything. But you have to put in the time. You have to sacrifice. You have to pick yourself up when you're down. And everybody says that, but it's until it happens. Like, you really have to do it. And it's like, I hear this all the time to where people are like, oh, I'm not going to spray tan for free. That's my time. I'm like, guess what? You won't, but I will. And guess what? To this day, I still do the 2 a.m. spray tans, and guess what? I'm still driving 3 hours to that client because she's someone I work with that's going to refer me 10 other clients.
Exactly.
And I've always said, I've never followed the dollar. The dollar has always followed me, and whatever God has planned for me, that's going to be it.
Yes.
And money comes and goes. Yeah. And I think if you're so focused on how much money you're going to make, that's where it gets lost.
It runs away from you. Yeah. Yeah.
And I just feel like just going in, letting people fall in love with you first before even the spray tan. Even if you make a mistake, even if you turn them orange, whatever it is, they fall in love with you. They're going to call you back and give you another chance. And they're going to talk about what they didn't like. And it's all about really just building and showing people your true authentic self and being authentic. They want to see you with no makeup, the sweats. They don't want you to come, coming in and think you have, it's like, no, it's about them. And it's like, obviously we're now put together because I'm in front of you, but most of the time I'm running around the sweats with no makeup on.
But you share that.
Exactly.
You
all
share
the time.
Yes.
I'm like, you guys, today's not an easy day. Like, I'm at Paris Fashion Week, and there's been a lot of stuff that has happened and changes. And it's like, I'm so grateful to be there, but it's like, people don't realize the sacrifice also that has involved, that my family has been through with me, right? Like, there's so many things to where I'm so grateful to have an amazing husband, but like there's certain school events that I haven't been at. There's like, and you have this like mom guilt, but it's like, I tell my husband, I need to do this to be able to continue to build, and if I don't take that call, someone else is.
And but that is a lost chance,
and so I always, it's all about balance. And so if I get that call, I'm like, hey, I'm going to put my daughter down, and they're always so understanding. I'm going to put her to bed, and I'll be right over. And they're always just, please take your time. Like, thank you for just coming last minute. So any other spray tan artist, if you're listening, if you're hearing, you got to sacrifice, you got to put in the work, you got to take the late night calls, you got to do the dirty work. It's not always fun, but what's amazing is when you get to the other side of that and you start to feel that little bit of success, you get hungry for more of that, and you want to work harder, and it's such an incredible feeling. And I'm so grateful to be in such a great place in my life now. And I always say, if my life, my business, my career were to completely be like, this is all what God wants for me, I'm so content with these levels that I've been able to reach that some people in their lifetime might not get the opportunity to, and I'm forever grateful to that.
But I think that's why you continue to build on what you have, because pride comes before the fall, right? It's like, you don't have a prideful bone in your body. You're so humble. And I think that makes all the difference. And
it does.
Yeah.
Because I know how it feels. I've walked into clients' houses and I've been treated like you're a worker. You're not worth anything, and it's like, oh, you're just a spray tan artist. And then I walk into all my clients are so amazing, and I'm so grateful that I have such an empowering group of people around me that, like, I walk into their house and they just make me feel so amazing and so important. But I truly feel like, it really takes a certain person. And I'll tell you, being naked in front of people is one of the most vulnerable situations. That you can have the best spray tan solution, you can be the best spray tan artist and have 30 years of experience, but if you don't have that heart and allow your clients to really feel vulnerable in front of you and safe, they're not going to call you back. So allowing yourself to just be vulnerable is another piece of advice that I always share with my clients.
I love that. And it's funny because I always look at like commodities, right? And spray tanning, it's like, there's a lot of spray tan artists. How do you differentiate yourself in a very full market, right? And it's like, you can either do that through giving better results, but it's like everyone has the same gun, basically. Or
similar
experience.
Solutions,
right? Similar solutions or the experience. And so it comes down to, how do you show up
as a person?
How do you treat people? How do you treat your clients? Are you showing up with, I've had so many spray tan artists in different cities that I go to, and it's like, the difference.
By the way, you gotta go to Dolce Glow spray tan.
I know. I was like, oh my god. But I always call the ones back who made me feel the safest and felt the best.
And even if there was something wrong,
even
like, I love her,
I like them.
Let me just talk to her, and she can help it, and she can fix it. And so I'm a huge fan. I love that so much, and I truly think it's like being humble, being true to you know who you are. I was raised in San Fernando. I was raised Hispanic. Never forgetting, where I came from. I have the same friends from high school. And I think, just being authentic in such a superficial world today.
It's so
bad.
And,
I'm in front of so many different people, from the biggest celebrities in the world to, just people like you and I, right? And I always say they put their pants on the same way I do. And, and I just going in and just being your true authentic self and having them fall in love with you first. And, I think that that's one thing that has really set me aside in the industry is like, I've never viewed myself as like, oh, there's another spray tan artist or this person does this, or I've always just stayed in my own lane.
Blinders on.
Blinders on. I've never been involved in gossip. I've been kicked off of every spray tan forum, not even by commenting, just because I'm there.
Really?
Oh, it's okay. But it's stuff that I noticed that I'm like, listen, I'm just here to like, it's okay though. Like I'm just, here and I'm working hard and I'm here to just change lives around me and I'm here to build a business and give my daughter a better future than what I have, and to change people's lives, keep them out of the sun, make them look and feel good, and that's what I'm here to do. Anything else that's around me, I'm like, once you get to know me, I'm the most incredible person. Like
even before I get to know you, you're an incredible person.
But I mean, like, it's just, it goes back to, and I say that because I think we live in an environment that's so judgmental and people don't know your
especially
story.
The industry.
And it's like, I think of just like this year when we had, Miley Cyrus come on to Dolce Glow. It was such a, I grew up with Miley.
Oh, totally.
And to be like such a person that I look up to and an icon.
So amazing.
For her to be in my spray tan tent and for her to ask me, are you looking for investors? And I was like, hey, I can't. And me admitting and me also being vulnerable and saying, like, I can't do this by myself anymore. Like, this is these POs and purchase orders and the Nordstroms of the world. And just like these POs are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And she's like, I want to invest in you. You're always here at 2 a.m. You're exhausted. I know you're away from your family. She goes, I get pitched by every single major makeup company every day, from the biggest to the smallest, giving me, millions and millions of dollars to do a lipstick deal or a nail polish deal. And she's like, I want to invest in you.
Wow.
And I want to support you, and I want to support women-owned businesses like you. And she has never, ever invested in another beauty business ever.
Wow.
And so, it's something
that just says everything. It says everything.
I'm just, every day I'm like, how and why, but I'm so grateful to God because I truly know, I'm like, God, I know I have your favor over my life.
100%. I know that people would ask you this.
Yeah.
And I think that your answer will be incredible because a lot of people are like, well, how did you get in the door with all of these people? So what did you do? And was it like an accident? Was it just you focus on the vision and you're working towards it and then the people arrived? I'm assuming that's what it was.
Yeah. So, I'm a huge believer of where God wants you to be is where you're going to be, right? Whether,
so good.
I truly feel like me, obviously living in LA, whether you're living in Miami, there's somebody there that's incredible. And whether it's the celebrity world that you want to break into, I'm a huge believer that this is where I'm supposed to be. And it was me just doing those late night tans, taking any call, me reaching out and talking about spray tanning to everybody, and me putting myself in some of the most vulnerable situations to where I'm like, but what if they say no? But then I was like, what if they said yes? What if they say yes? But the biggest thing was I was never scared of failure, because when you come from nothing, you're not scared to lose because you've already been at the bottom. Like,
you've been so scared of so much.
How much worse could my life get? Like, worst
case, you go back to where you were. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, nothing's worse than this. So I think me also not being scared and me reaching out to these influencers and people. And then one thing is to get a yes, come spray tan me, but another thing is to be able to keep them to call you back. Over and over and over. And that's why I say, you can't train you can have the best solution, the best product, but it's who you are as a person. So I always feel like being your true authentic self when you are in front of these celebrities and you are in front of these influencers, and being raw and making it about them is what's going to get you to having them refer you to find their other friends.
100%. And I feel like I found you a couple of years ago. I remember I was out in Austin and I found you, and it was like I believe you were in Nordstrom. And since then, you have, like, holy shit, you're everywhere. It's crazy. You were on a billboard. You were on QVC.
Yeah.
You're in Nordstrom. You're like in Revolve. Like literally, you're everywhere. And I feel like it's kind of like the 10-year journey to like then have overnight success, and you become like that overnight success after a 10-year journey. And it's just so inspiring to hear.
I'm almost
background
10
of that
years in now.
That's wild.
So officially picking up my spray tan gun.
And when did you feel like you caught like some momentum? Because I mean, it might have been 6-7 years in.
So for me, I think I caught momentum within 6 months.
Really?
Of my spray tan business. Yep.
Wow.
And I remember looking at all my friends, and I remember thinking they have an eyelash person, they have a makeup person, they have a hair person, but they don't have a spray tan artist. And I'm like, they're going to be my first models, and they're going to refer me. The cool thing about spray tans is it's not like makeup when you go wash your face off at night and no one will see you the next day. You have a walking model for 7 or 10 days, right? And so I was like, these girls are going to be my walking models. And that's ultimately what led me. And then just truly believing, and I'm a huge believer in manifestation. I manifested all of this.
Yeah. Totally.
Everything I've asked for, anything I've wanted in my career, my business, I've manifested. Yeah. I remember driving home one day, and my husband calls me, and he's like, hey, do you want to go to dinner? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm going to tan so-and-so tonight. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, so-and-so's going to call me tonight. And he's like, you're so funny. I was like, I'm making myself believe that it's happening, and I'm living in it now.
Yes.
It came a few years later.
Yes.
But now it's like I look at, when we do our Nordstrom or Ulta, and we go through all the clients that are using our tans and Dolce Glow, and I'm like, I have probably one of the biggest Rolodex of some of the most influential people in the world.
It's wild.
And it's one thing to get in with them.
Yes.
It's another thing to maintain almost 10 years of relationships that I have with some of these people. And it's not, for me, it's not just the celebs. I tan. Half of my clients won't even let me post them, and it's the grandmas. It's the, and they just look and feel good, and it covers their varicose veins. And so I just truly love making people look and just give that like inner confidence. And I love what I do. I love meeting new people. I love building this confidence, and I love just being, this, I hope to inspire so many other people that are maybe struggling right now. And
well, you definitely are. You definitely are, for sure.
Thank you.
And you put such a good energy out, and I believe that's why you have what you have created.
I'm a huge believer of who you are.
Yeah.
It's what your positivity is what you attract, right? And that's why I'm so cautious of who enters my business, my life, my friends. And I have people, and they're like, hey, I haven't talked to you in 6 months, or hey.
You're like, there's a reason.
I'm so protective.
Yeah.
And you have to be. You have to be, because I'm also a huge believer, and I was raised, I'm a huge believer in God, and I do believe that the devil walks.
Yeah.
And, and I'm just very protective of everything that's, around me and in my life. And I just know that whatever God has planned for me is going to be, and truly just trusting that.
Yes. So good. Okay, so what is next for you? Because now you are training and you're doing all these things, and I feel like now with the momentum that you have an investor and all the exciting opportunities, what is next for you?
And so, people, it's like obviously with having Miley coming in as an investor,
it's huge.
It's huge, but there also comes a different source of, I don't want to use the word pressure because I've never been pressured, but like you want to prove them that they believed in you, so they're gonna, so I think for me it's
real.
Continuing to share how amazing Dolce Glow is, and building this awareness of how really damaging these UV rays are. And this is why spray tan, we've never seen the type of momentum that we have today, because of how dangerous the sun is, right? So I look at Dolce Glow as a leader in this business to continue to bring awareness to not just us white women or Caucasians, but deeper complexion clients, that everyone can burn in the sun. Everyone is prone to sun damage. Everyone can get skin cancer. And actually, deeper complexion clients are last to find out they have skin cancer.
Really?
They're the last to find out. And normally when they find out, it's at a later stage.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's so crazy. And so now, just to be in this place in like my business, to continue to spread awareness, education, give people this like confidence that we know, although a spray tan is like, can make you don't have to lay out in the sun, you can achieve results in 15-20 minutes, but it also does so many other things, right? It boosts this inner confidence, this inner beauty, it just makes you look and feel better. So Dolce Glow really just being this leader in this industry is like what I hope and pray for for my company. But, you know, continuing to just build, and whether it's retail distribution, you know, we're doing our summit, which is not even really a Dolce Glow summit. If you want to launch your own product, if you want to break into big box retailers, if you don't know if you need to get an attorney, if you are confused about trademarking or infringement,
so good.
This is the summit you need to go to.
Oh, that's so good.
So it's so different. It's not specific to spray tanning. It's anybody from any industry. And
for physical products.
For physical products or anything. Just like everything that like no one, pretty much everything that people gatekeep.
Yes. No one told you.
I had it the hardest.
Yep.
I made tons of mistakes when I started. No one told me about trademarks, copyright, tests that I need to run my products through, and all this stuff. And I get these questions every day. Isabel, I have this new product, or I want to launch this. Who do I go to for packaging? Who do I go to create my formulations? Do I need to trademark this? Who do I call for this? Hey, I'm running out of cash. How much equity should I give up? So this is what this conference and summit is really about.
Love that.
Thinking outside of the box and no longer gatekeeping and just bringing that. So I'm so
you're
excited.
bringing business into the spray tan world where like that's so hidden for all of the girls, and it's like they're artists. They're not business savvy.
Exactly.
So bringing that to
and
them
people
is so
want to launch their products, right? And you know, you look at long-term exits for businesses in the CPG world, the consumer products, goods world. It's products, right? So I'm spray tanning, right? The squatting, the physical work. But if you have a product that could then do that work for you as you build, I mean, like, it's such an incredible business to be in. And so I want to be able to help and share everything that I had no clue when I was running into this, and I made those mistakes. This summit is really going to be like, this is what you need to do to launch this product. If you have this product and it's available, do you want to get into the Ultas of the world? Do you want to get into the Nordstroms of the world? Here's my advice to breaking into that world.
Coming from someone who's done it.
Exactly.
Do you have an ETA on the date? Or?
So it's January 25th and 26th.
Okay.
It's going to be in Burbank, so local airport they can fly in. It's obviously relatively close to LAX. It's going to be a small, intimate group. We have tons of people on the list to get, to be able to register. So if you are stuck or you're confused, or you don't know if you need influencer marketing, if you need PR for your business, I'm going to have actually some of the best in the business
so awesome
come in and share their expertise with all of our people that are attending.
Oh my god, amazing. Amazing. Okay, so January, that's awesome.
Yes,
that's awesome.
I'm so excited, and hopefully you can come.
Yes, for sure. Where can people find you? Where can they find your products? Like, where are you?
So obviously dolceglow.com. We are available in all pretty much U.S. Nordstroms across the world. Not across the world, manifesting that in the U.S.
There we go. She's already ahead of it.
I'm already putting that out there. We're in a few Neiman Marcus, Revolve, Macy's. We sell out almost every show on QVC. QVC that's coming here. I love QVC, by the way. Cool. I love all my retail partners, and Nordstrom is like the one that's so dearest to my heart because they gave me an opportunity. And some more retail distribution that I can't wait to share that's coming this upcoming year, and new products coming and new innovation. And so we're just always trying to. That's why I travel when I go to Paris or Europe or Italy. Believe it or not, I'm not just tanning these people. I'm at these factories and I'm like, what's new? What can I put in my products? So we're not looking to do what everybody else is doing. We're trying to bring innovation to the sunless tanning space. And some more goodies coming our way. So
I love that. Well, thank you so much. I love just, first of all, your energy.
Thanks.
Second of all, your ability to pair artistry with business and be innovative and just be that leading light for everyone in the space.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful, and it's amazing to have people like you that use your platform to also share. And I would say if you're struggling, if you're in a tough time, like I've been there, you're gonna pull through. And without the good times, there's not the bad times. So good. You got this. Keep pushing, and I promise you'll come out on the other side.
Thank you so much for your voice.
Thank you.